Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us on World Awakening tonight. I want to thank my producer, Bill, at KGRA. And tonight, I want to welcome somebody that has been in my paranormal world about as long as anyone has been in my paranormal world. He reached out to me probably about 10 years ago, maybe more. And we had an instant connection in mind. We got each other. We understood each other. And dare I say, we share a love and a respect that I would want for anybody to have in terms of a friendship. So without further ado, I would welcome my guest tonight, George Lopez.
Hello and hello everybody in A World Awakening, and thank you for having me on tonight. I'm really looking forward to this.
Well, I want to thank you and Ken. Hello, Lori. I want to thank you and Ken for inviting.
This is kind of a reunion of the show, isn't it?
It really is, because you and I began A World Awakening as a little blog talk radio show.
Blog talk.
I don't know, like 8-9 years ago. And we did it for a couple, almost 3 years. Yeah. And then we took a hiatus, and then I rebooted it with Tony Rathman, and then KGRA picked us up. KGRA picked you guys up. You have turned Dead Air into Dead Air Full Spectrum, created your own network. It's a very special place for people who are interested in all things paranormal under that vast umbrella. And now we get to join you every Friday night all over again. And I am grateful and I'm honored to be back on Dead Air.
Yeah, everybody's come back home. And, it is a wonderful location. One of the things that Ken and I endeavored to do when we started this journey again was to, bring good people, good conversation, good topics, and no one's missed the mark yet. It's been absolutely incredible. And yet you joining us now on Fridays, and Melissa St. Hilaire's new show going to be coming up, and it's filling up the week. And that's wonderful for all of the viewers out there. They've always got something different to watch on the show. So that's great. And thank you guys always for the support. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button for Andrea's show.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, now we simulcast on YouTube. On my Andrea Perrin YouTube channel, you can catch any of the archives there. Over time, George, I do believe you and Ken are going to start archiving the shows that we've already got archived over there and moving them over to you so that your viewers can find them with ease. No rush because they're out there, but I'd, like to make it my home for the show. In terms of people being able to go back and see who we've had, a number of great guests. I do, for those who have not seen A World Awakening before, we do a very eclectic mix of guests. It's always interesting. It's always fascinating. It's very purist in approach, I think. Gives people an opportunity to see Dead Air is awesome. See, Laurie knows. It gives people an opportunity to get away from all the fluff and the flitter and the distractions of life. Hello, Michelle.
Michelle, let's not go down that road this early.
Yeah, I know. I saw what she did. Yes, we will definitely talk about that as well.
It's the inside joke of the entire channel, I swear to God.
It is. It certainly is. But, the thing that's most fascinating about my relationship with you, George, is that, we have at times really mixed it up, like, cats and dogs really do hate each other. We really have, because we're both very passionate. We're both very willful. We're both very strong-minded about what we perceive, how we perceive it. And when we disagree, it always opens new doors, and we're not unkind to each other. No. It's just good argument for the sake of a good argument. But it is, it is an expression of the passion that we both share for the field, I think. And so ultimately it serves a greater purpose. Ultimately it expands minds, so those that join us when we do what we do, whether it be on your show with Ken, my show, or when we come together, which we have done a number of times over the years, is the same thing that I strive for with Soul School, and that is to open up the possibilities, give people an opportunity to consider the possibilities, the plausibilities of what we're discussing, who we're bringing on. You've had some absolutely fascinating top of the field guests. So have I. But we also interview people, and I hate to even call it an interview. It's really more of a discussion. It's an exchange. It's a cerebral engagement that that occurs and manifests. And what it does is it serves the purpose ultimately to expand the mind of everyone who is in any way involved in the discourse. And that was our original mission statement with the World Awakening. And here we are again. So what do you want to talk about, George? Oh, we wrote this little book together called In a Flicker, which, by the way, was entirely 100% George's idea that manifested from a dream, I believe. And we completed that little project in 2015. So we go back.
Available on Amazon and Barnes and Nobles.
Available on
paperback, Amazon. Hardback, and digital also. So
yes. And available in digital. Yes, it is.
It's legitimate. And I've never been to the Conjuring House.
I know. It's our love child, George. In a Flicker is our love child. And it's our only child, because I will never write another book with you. I never will, because I need to be able to survive the process of writing. And it was the most arduous, most difficult. Oh, I think those were the worst arguments that we ever did have. And the thing that drove me most insane about it was that I would work for hours and hours and hours carefully crafting a particular paragraph or two to go in a particular chapter or two. And you would read it in 2 to 3 minutes and say, strike it all. It does not align
Get rid of it.
With my intention. It's got to go. And I'm like, fuck you, George Lopez.
Get rid of it.
Here. Yeah. And how many times? Yeah. And, I meant no harm by that, but, I had put my whole heart and soul into trying to express your intention. And all I wanted to do was please you. I was so eager to please you. And you could, with just the swipe of a red pen, say, nope, gone. Nope, that's not what I want. And
no, I know your intention had always and still always comes from a point of love. And again, I love you for being that kind of a person also. And listen, I'm not resonant when it comes to my opinion, whether it's in the paranormal, whether it's about writing, whether it's about politics, whatever avenue you want to go down, I express my opinion. If you like it, great. If you don't, I'm sorry. And when we were going through this book, there were those points in time where, as you said, this entire story played like a movie in my head. Yeah. And then you were I guess in a sense, the screenwriter who was coming in and saying, yeah, this is good, but we're going to go there. And I'm like, that's not what I planned. And this is the reason why. And
you were always right. I mean, when it was all said and done and in print, you were right every single time, which kills me to admit. But I must, because it's the truth.
We couldn't have known at the time. Again, it's just a meeting of two minds with, again, your exceptional writing and background and my exceptional imagination. And the next thing you know, the reviews that we're getting back, first from our proofreaders, the people who were reading it for us, and then once it was published and out there, people were writing back going, best book I've ever read. I can't believe the things that are going on in this. And of course, our worst reviews were the ones saying, it's too graphic. I can't read it. It's too hard for me to read. And that,
And it is.
I
I
look
mean,
at that
if
as
it was
it's
a
good.
movie, it would be X-rated. Yes.
Yeah, just horrible. But
And the worst of it
get
comes
it.
directly from the annals of English history. You know,
Mhm.
I mean, it was basically we were replicating what the coroner report said. Now
Yeah.
it's about Jack the Ripper, but so much more. I was just talking to somebody the other day about it, and she's like, you know, I really want to read in a flicker. She said, I'm a little afraid too because, you know, I understand that it's pretty intense and there's going to be imagery in it that I'm never going to be able to forget. It'll be, I've had one of my friends read it and she said it was like watching a movie in written words, that it
It came
translates
to life. It
her
came to
mind
life.
as a film. And
Yeah.
of course, she cannot get rid of those. My mother, a voracious reader who reads about Scottish history that could be not more grotesque if it tried to be, couldn't make it more than a third of the way through. She said it's too emotional. One of my dear friends, my historian friend, she said, Andrea, I had to give the book away. I was like, what? And she said, I am telling you that the characters in your book were manifesting in my house. You have released them from the dead. You don't understand what this book does to people. And I said, no, actually, I do understand. And I understand why you had to give it away. And, you know, I let that go because it's that intense. It is.
Yeah. Thank you, Michelle Lovell,
The dead.
for buying the book for everyone. That's fantastic. It was one of those things that it's a life accomplishment to be able to put those words on paper. It was a higher than expected accomplishment to get the reviews that we have gotten and continue to get with this story, and it's painful. There's a little bit of humor here and there along the way, but again, straight up, this is a very, very difficult read. And it was a difficult read when we did read-throughs. There were times we had to stop. There were times when I was writing it, we had to stop. But anyway, enough of the book, because this is a show people want to know about the paranormal. So, maybe we'll change direction a little bit to appease
What
them.
do you want to talk about?
I don't know. They're talking about cooking in the chat right now. So
what? Who's hungry?
I do want to. Just recently, it was a shame, frustrating. But the kids, Cody and Satori, came down to Florida.
Yes, they did.
2 weekends ago, and they live. I live 30 minutes from St. Augustine, so I said, "Yeah, I'll come up there, get you guys set up for a tour of the jail, and maybe some VIP passes on the Ghost and Gravestone trolley tour." So 30 minutes up, 30 minutes there, and I had to go back home to take care of my 88-year-old father again. So I couldn't stay to spend much time with them, but I spent enough time to see them do their tapping session, which I'm sorry, they're wonderful kids. They are really wonderful kids. But until I stepped into their circle, in their presence, I was still jaded, and I was still looking for a way of explaining this. Does Satori have a double jointed hip, and that's where the popping is? Absolutely not. And you could tell the difference when they were standing on concrete in the jail cell to they were standing in the sheriff's quarters, a hardwood floor on the second floor. Mm-hmm. It's amazing. It's mesmerizing. Our producer Bill Forte was talking before we came on air about doing his investigations with regards to ufology, and I'm sitting there going, these kids could unlock the universe, when the opportunity is right, when the opportunity will present itself. They don't want to push it. Ken, who is a phenomenal mentor to them, does not want to push it, and I completely understand. And thank God they're 2,000 miles away from me, because I wouldn't let up. And if I
hound them incessant, like
nonstop, because I would be asking a million questions, and which I'm sure everybody would. The basic curiosity part of it, but
George, did you ever
take
think
it in
long
such
enough,
stride. It's ridiculous how
you know,
they just, okay, we're talking to spirits. I'm like,
I
nobody does this.
I know. I never thought that I would live long enough to see direct conscious contact.
Consistent contact.
Consistent, measurable, quantifiable, verifiable contact. I didn't think that I'd live to see it. And it is one of the most gratifying experiences of my life. Every time I'm with them, my sister April comes barging right through, starts, copping to shit that she did when she was alive, and, talking about the spirits that she now knows that we knew from the farmhouse as children. And, it is life altering every single time I am in their presence. Mind expanding and life altering. And I know you've had that experience now, and you will have it again. I promise you that you will.
Well, it is one of those things that, yes, it's profound to be witness and bear witness to these anomalies, these miracles that are happening. And at the same time, it's like having a limited amount of time to do a paranormal investigation. You start getting evidence and the session's over, or that you've got to leave the building, and it's like it was just kicking in. And that's the way that I feel that, I again, it's probably best. They may have to put a restraining order against me because I just, and I'm not trying to overwork them, but they're the only source. This is it. It's not like this is something that 15 people are doing or 5 people are doing.
No. And they're so humble about it. And they don't charge anybody anything to have that experience because they perceive it as a gift that's been given to them. And so they give it freely to everyone that they encounter, which is beautiful. That's how it should be. It's the same way when I make contact with the galactic family. There's not a ticket that they have to buy to join me to go do that. This was a gift that was given to me. I don't know why, but I am very humble about it, and I'm extremely grateful. And I share it with everyone that I encounter that's interested in it. So it really is, the same thesis as, the golden rule, do unto others as though you are the others, share and embrace everyone. And, to me, this is a quantum leap in the paranormal. It really is. It's like we've been taking baby steps all along, a little here, a little there, compilation of evidence. You've talked at length over the years about, having almost like a clearinghouse for vetting of evidence. Like if we took all the evidence gathering and collecting that goes on across the globe in the paranormal and put it in one place where it could be vetted, it could be verified, it could be validated, and then there would be no more skeptics. We've talked about that. For me, Cody and Satori should be the end of skepticism. Should be the end of skepticism in the field, period. You can't help the cynics. You can't help the cynics.
But that's the whole thing behind it, is that there's always going to be, just for the sake of argument, those who will argue, and with no logical justification behind it other than just to say, well, it's not real. Yeah, but you've seen, well, it's not real. But it's not real. And that's their basis for their stand. And I wanted to be the same way.
True.
I wanted to be the same way when I saw them, and I immediately went, it's real. I can't dispute this.
Yeah. But, that's the thing. We've talked about this, I don't know, probably ad nauseum, but, I really do believe that the people that say, oh, no, none of that. This is all, you people are magical thinkers. You're like all mentally ill. We're ridiculed at times in this field. People
rightfully so at times, though, too.
Yeah. But the thing is, I really do believe, I feel more pity than anything because they're cutting themselves off from this incredible revelation of life and death and the afterlife, completely cutting themselves off from it. And I believe that it's because ultimately they fear that it will fracture their own belief system. And so the best thing to do is just to deny it, and then it can't infringe on it. It won't force them to reconsider their position on anything. And I find those people fewer and more far between now than I did even a decade ago. I think that people are spiritually maturing and are much more open-minded than they once were on this subject, don't you?
No, this is how we have such an incredible friendship and can still be opposite ends of the spectrum on this. No, when it comes to this field, I'm extremely jaded only because of the fact, again, whether it's being a host, doing paranormal investigations, going with you to these paranormal conferences, you have such extreme ends of the spectrum, the ones who are just complete deniers and cynics, and the ones who everything is paranormal. And it's like, let's find that happy medium in between and let's question what it is that we are experiencing, whatever it may be, but not just take it at face value. You get one of a group of 10 people walk into a room and go, you guys feel that heaviness? And it's power of suggestion. Half of those people that are with them are going to go, yeah, I feel it too. With no justification, no reasoning, no scientific evaluation. It's just going in the direction of not being singled out or not being against the grain of everyone else. And I'm going to always be that 12th monkey. I'm going to be the one that sits there and goes, no, I don't feel anything. It feels like a normal room to me. But I could walk in the next room and feel it and not have an explanation behind it, but not immediately jump to demonic infestation or oppression or anything of that sort. And maybe again, that's part of me doing this now, God knows how many years, that I found a point of contention with regards to the mass of the paranormal. Now, individuals, love them. There are some individuals out there that just are mind-blowing with their fascination in the field, their interest in the field, and their pragmatic perspective of what it is that we're doing. But the ones that just jump into the deep end there, it's no different. Some who will look at Cody and Satori and say, well, they're speaking with demons. Don't they even know they're being manipulated?
Yep.
Why?
Yep. I've heard it. Yep. They must be speaking with demons. Yep.
Let it be. Let it be. And so again, I think the field's important. I think the field, unfortunately, has been plagued with fools and foolers that it kind of, you've dealt with that in the UFO field with disinformation, but those who come into this for entertainment value, those who come into this for attention and are not really seeking a resolve with the communication back and forth. That's why I always argued when it came to anybody that was doing systematic communication with any type of spirit box, redundant response and trigger words, trying to verify that what you are doing is communicating and it's not just a random generator. And this has will continue to be one of my biggest pet peeves. But when we're talking about all the other devices, the ones that light up and they make noise, I can sit there all day long and tear it apart. I like the aspect of compounding. You and I have talked about this for the longest time. Personal experience, then a recorder, add it to some kind of electronic device. And if all this kind of adds up together, it's kind of hard to explain away what it is that you're experiencing. But a one-time anomaly and just take that at face value, it's difficult for me to swallow at this point in time.
Well, one of the things that you said years and years ago, and you'll remember it when I reference it, we were doing our Blog Talk radio show, and you said something that was one of those moments for me, and really made me spend an inordinate amount of time wondering what you had said. And this is what it was. You said, How come nobody ever sees ghosts wearing members only jackets?
Right.
Do you remember that?
Sure.
Now, why do we only see spirits or encounter spirits that are, 100, 200 years old, not 20 years old or 30 years old? And I said to you, well, I personally visit with my deceased relatives a lot more in death than I ever did in life. And I talked about the time right here in this house. I'm in Georgia with my mom and my sister Christine. And I walked into the kitchen one day and my mother walked in right behind me. And I looked at her and I said, "Are you making sweet tea?" And she said, "No." I said, "Smell it. Smell it." And both of us turned and we looked at each other and we said, "Aunt Vivian's here." Because so often, it's the pungent aroma that you associate with a person that somehow manifests so that you can identify the spirit.
Right.
And we both said hello and that we loved her very much. And within, a minute or so, it dissipated. But we know, Mom and I both know that we had a visit from Aunt Vivian after she passed away.
Right.
And she passed away about maybe 15 years ago. And, one of the things that I so appreciate about Cody and Satori, I was there the night at the farmhouse when one of the spirits from the house came through, and her name is Abigail Arnold, also known as Mrs. John Arnold. And she came through, and Jacqueline, the new owner of the farm, is sitting on the Parsons bench behind us, and she's got Ancestry.com open. And Cody and Satori start speaking with Abigail and ask her to give them her birth date, which she did, and then asked for her date of her passing, which she did. And as this is happening, Jacqueline is plugging this information into Ancestry.com. And she says, "Everyone look." And she holds up her phone, and there is the one and only photograph that was ever taken of Abigail Arnold in the 1850s or 1860s and through there on her phone. I mean, it happened in real time. There's just no denying that. And anybody that wants to deny it, feel free. But ask yourself why you would deny something that happened right in front of your eyes in real time. Kind of like, I don't know, like an insurrection. No, well, we're not going to go there. We're not going there tonight, George.
Not going there. Not going there.
Okay.
No, I remember talking about the members only jacket and saying, before the existence of existentialism, Christianity was extremely powerful in this country. And again, for those people who passed on, those scenarios that played out in their head, perhaps on their deathbed, of some sort of a sin that they committed that they were afraid to cross over. In some cases that they waited for their loved one to come back from war. But in a lot of those periods, they were highly, highly religious, and not so much nowadays. Now, it's not to say that the guy in the members only jacket might not show up. He'll probably be ridiculed if he's ever caught on video or photography. But those spirits, such as your sister April, I mean, they still show up. Spirits still show up. We've seen that again with Cody and Satori, where family members show up at the speed of a thought, in a thought, not even speaking aloud. Relatives of investigators present while they're doing what they're doing show up. But I think they have that free will to come and go anywhere, anytime. Those that we see from a 1800s into 1900s period are kind of stuck in that purgatory loop that they're not able to release from unless and until that issue is resolved for them, whatever that sin is that they believe. But so much as they believe that damnation is ahead, they're not going to want to let go. And if you've ever spoken to somebody that is extremely religious, you're not going to be able to talk them down from a ledge as a paranormal investigator just like that. It's just not going to happen that way.
Yeah.
But
Well,
that happens so often across this country, and I'm sure across the world.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. No, but one of the things that I think that is most interesting about it is it lends credence to the notion that we are all surrounded by spirit all the time.
Unquestionably.
All the time. It's not that there is really no veil between this realm and the next realm. And we've talked, on really more of a universal, more cosmic level at length about this, that if everything is one thing, if everything is consciousness, if everything is energy, whatever word you attribute to it, it's all one thing. And so if that is the case, and we live in a multi-dimensional universe, then all of these dimensions exist simultaneously. Doesn't that follow logically? That seems the most pragmatic, most logical course in terms of that thought feed.
Layers upon layers upon layers upon layers, all interacting all at the same time at different frequencies. And, it's tantamount to what we're looking to achieve in this field is discovering what we are just now discovering, such as, yes, and I'm not tooting a horn, I'm stating a fact. When we did with Rolling Hills Asylum, a transfer of spirits from Palm Coast to Rolling Hills and back again, those spirits traveled up there, supposedly, because, again, I have no facts. Yes, we did a spirit box session, Frank's box session, and caught some amazing things that are on there, but it's not evidence. It is just things that we captured. Now, fast forward to Cody and Satori and sitting there with a Ken DaCosta, and Ken thinks about the maid at the Stanley Hotel in Estes Park, Colorado, and she, by thought, shows up in the speed of a thought at their location in Rhode Island that quick. And again, so it's reading your thoughts, and they can move at the speed of a thought. We've always had that thought about that, but this really helped to validate the things that we've had theories on for so many years. And God, again, think about it. It's just the tip of the iceberg of what could be discovered down the way. It's amazing to me and frightening at the same time.
Oh, I don't find it frightening, but then again, I've kind of lived in as a paranormal person for the bulk of my life.
Well, don't think, I'm not talking about scary on their side. I'm talking about scary what people will interpret. That's what scares me.
Yeah, and how, and what they can do with something that is pure light and love, and turn it into something so dark and fear-based and evil. And that's not the case at all. I mean, look how many, when I first wrote, when the first volume of House of Darkness, House of Light was released, and I know I told you this years ago, you probably forgot, but I got a series of death threats. One in particular that was so disturbing that I had to file a police report. Because I was living here with my mother and my sister and our dogs, and I felt threatened in my own home. Because when you get a message from somebody of, I know where you live, I know how to get there, I'll hand deliver you in pieces to the devil, you better take that shit seriously. And it was, and I thought, maybe I need to just back right on out of this door. Just back on out of this door.
Oh, Athena, do you feel like possible for spirits to communicate to us through music, like a song, as a type of sign or symbol that they're there? Quick story, Athena. Andrea's heard this time and again. One of my paranormal investigators, Amanda, who we lost now 7-8 years ago in a car crash. And immediately after she passed, communication started going on back and forth. And one of the questions that her mother wanted to know is, are you with God? And her response on an EVP was, tell her no doubt. And I didn't know what that meant or why it was said that way. And her mother wept immediately and said, George, one of her favorite bands was No Doubt, and one of her favorite songs is I'm Just a Girl. And in the lyrics talks about I'm driving at night all alone, and that's how she perished. I mean, that kind of message that could only have been interpreted by her mother with regards to that. Absolutely, the communication that comes across. And I'm sure we've all had that circumstance. Andrea is a big lover of music, as am I. And, you know, you're in the car and you're thinking about a song and it comes on.
Mm-hmm.
How many songs have been put out there over decades and decades? And you're thinking about a song and it comes on the radio. That to me is magic unto itself. It's self-rewarding. It's selfish, but it's self-rewarding.
Okay, imagine now driving along in a car and you've decided that you need some freaking peace and quiet. And I'm driving from Florida up here to Georgia to come back up and help clean out my sister's storage unit after she passed away in 2017. And I didn't have anybody. I didn't have my little peanut butter cup, which, by the way, Peanut, say hello to Uncle George. He's right there. He's right there. There he is. That's your Uncle
Get the squirrel. Get the squirrel.
Don't start. Don't. She'll run right to the door. Don't you even start. And I'm coming up I-75, and I just suddenly, you know, I'm still with the PTSD of the loss, the same way that you were with Amanda. And I just burst into tears. My stereo was not on in my car. And suddenly, through my stereo, starts playing The Rose, which was April's favorite song. It turned itself on. I didn't do it. There was nobody else in the car to do it. The radio comes on a station that it was not set to, and is playing The Rose. And when the song was over, the radio went off. The stereo went off. Okay, there it is. You know what? If people don't believe me, I don't care. I don't care. That happened. And it's real. And that's proof that my sister was right there with me, traveling with me, after we had suffered as a family the worst loss that any of us could ever imagine. And we're in excruciating pain. And comes through the song to soothe my wounded soul.
Time and again, we've heard, and we will continue to hear testimonies from people, not necessarily in our field of research, but just normal day, that they could come up and say, right after my uncle, my aunt, my wife, my husband, my children, right after they passed, they visited me. And it's always similar in the message. I'm okay. Go on with your life.
Yeah.
I'm okay.
Now
it's never help me. It's never, oh my. No, it's always a message of promise
and peace.
Yeah.
Always. We're the ones that suffer the loss.
Yeah.
You know, my friend Erin, who you had the chance to meet in St. Augustine.
Very sweet. Yes. Hi, Erin. She's in chat.
She's wonderful. Oh my God, I love her. She said to me one day, we were talking, I don't know, we were both crying about something because, you know, that's what we do. And she said, you know, my mother always told me that grief is love with no place left to go. It's
a difficult process. I think we do hold on to it long, sometimes even too long, where it's detrimental. And instead, you know, I've learned, do my heartstrings still get tugged on from time to time with the losses I've had? Absolutely. Yeah. But I've learned very much so that when I'm speaking aloud to them, that they can hear without question. And that's, you know, coming full circle to Cody and Satori, they were at this theater, and I spoke aloud to Amanda and said, hey, here's the location, here's the kids. I want you to go ahead and communicate with them. And they're on stage and they're getting the tapping. And it was another spirit asking them, who's Amanda?
Yeah.
And I'm going. So
Who's Nanda? Let us
I,
introduce you. Yeah.
yeah, and I extend that message out to your viewers to say, listen, if you've lost a loved one, and I call it spirit email. I've been saying that since the old blog talk days. Speak aloud to your loved ones. They can hear you, and you never know um, if you ask them to give you some sort of a profound message. I mean, if they just appeared in front of you, that's really psychologically impactful. But if it's a song, something being moved, a sudden feeling on your back of a hand, things of that sort, those are generous gestures to give you more comfort for what you're dealing with. But yeah, they absolutely hear you without question. They absolutely read your thoughts without question.
Yeah.
So just keep that in mind, everybody.
Yes.
Hey, there's Cody. Sure, he's sneaking in here now.
Sneaking in. I was on the phone with him just a couple of hours ago, just before I did my first show.
Hang on one second. Cody, you're lucky you only had 30 minutes with me in St. Augustine. You're lucky that I couldn't be there for 4 or 5 hours. You'd have gotten nothing else done. We'd have stayed in that jail communicating. So count your blessings, my friend. That's all I needed to say, Andrew. Thank you.
That's okay.
This is
I
a public
love
service
Cody
announcement.
and Satori so much. I've known them since they were knee-high to grasshoppers, and to see how they have, just matured, flowered, blossomed into these extraordinary adults.
I don't think Cody's ever been short.
No, well, no, he would no
Thinner, thinner, but not short.
Well, nothing will make you fat, faster than happiness. So, yeah. But no, they have a magic. There's a magic between them that it releases, like the universe says, oh yeah, these two. All right, these two, we can trust these two. They're the ones that we trust to do this, to speak for us. And, that the ultimate, coupling of conduits that it's, I've never seen, honestly, it bears repeating. I lived long enough to see this, and I know them, and I know this is real, and I know there's no hoax involved with this. And I knew immediately, instantly. I think we all feel that, like, put that back up. What does that say? I don't have my glasses on, Melissa. You know I'm half blind, babe. Yes, I think we have. If we are Melissa, if we are of a certain age, yes, they are our adopted children. It's true.
I've disowned them since St. Augustine now because I didn't get more than 30 minutes with them. That's okay.
Count your blessings, George.
And while they may have this unique connection / dialogue with spirit, as I said before, I believe all of us have the ability. Well, let me change that. I think all of them have the ability to hear us, whether it's through our voice or through our thoughts. I think they all do. Whether or not they choose to respond to it's a whole different topic. But, it's blessed in that way. It gives me comfort. I can tell you that.
Yeah. Well, I know that there's something going on in my house right now. Not only can I feel it, but there is nothing that is a more effective barometer for spiritual activity than a chihuahua that trembles when she sees a spirit. And I can't get my little dog to stop trembling.
Now, wait a minute. Wait a minute.
It's okay.
All chihuahuas tremble.
No. Only in thunderstorms, and usually, actually, she does not respond badly to spirit activity, but she does. She's a little afraid of the galactic family. Is it a galactic family member that came in? I had a download about 5 minutes ago, and that's when it started. So, it's going to be okay, honey. It's going to be okay. Auntie Erin, please send some, hi, Brady. Oh, it's my young man that I adore. Send some energy, Auntie Erin, please, to Peanut Buttercup, the princess, because she's a little freaked out. And whoever is upsetting my dog right now, please don't, because she's the center of my universe. You know, you've been in love with Chihuahua yourself, George. I thank
Oh,
you.
absolutely.
Energy coming in hot for Peanut. That's Auntie Erin.
Yeah. Incredible.
I know. George, on a personal note, I'm just going to say something that I should probably just say to you personally, but I'm going to say it publicly. And you can just deal with the fallout. You are one of the most brilliant and beautiful souls that I have ever encountered.
Thank you.
You will be a part of my life for my whole life. And I couldn't be more proud to launch this show on Dead Air tonight with you as my guest. You are, everybody says that John Zaffis is, the godfather of the paranormal. That if he is, you're the old weird uncle. And
great.
And what you bring to this field and your perspective and your sensibilities and sensitivities not only bears watching. People need to listen to you. People need to pay attention to you. You've done this for so long. You're so steeped in this and have come from such a pragmatic, even, yes, skeptical point of view. All the more reason to trust when you say this is real, that this is real, because you've tried to figure out 1,000 reasons why it's not before you settle on, okay, I accept this. This is real.
Well, I remember when I really got in trouble with this field, and that was at the convention in the Upper Peninsula. And you and I were on stage, and I, with a full auditorium, apologized to everyone on behalf of the paranormal field because we had failed you. And I meant that sincerely then, and I mean it sincerely now, that from the movers and shakers in this field, and again, we are in a capitalist society. I understand that. Whether you're writing your books or you're doing your shows or you're selling your items and products, I understand all that part of it. But the fundamental purpose behind all this is connection. And that seems to have been lost somewhere along the way. As I said on that stage, referring back to the old Game of Thrones statement, don't stop the wheel, break the wheel. Step outside of the comfort zone. Step outside of the paranormal zone of what is considered to be the standard and make your own mark in this field. Interestingly enough, Cody and Satori stepped back in the field and were able to make that connection rather than stepping forward with techniques or technology or tone, even for that matter. They just did it what was natural to them. I suggest that, and I put that out there in the universe for all of you, the same thing. Go with what is natural to you. Yeah. You'd be surprised by the results.
Yeah, what feels right. George, we blew through an hour like it was 5 minutes. We've done it before.
It's like our phone calls.
I know, just like our phone calls, exactly. And I will have you on again and again, because I do believe that you are an extraordinarily important voice in this field, and you bring a unique perspective that broadens and expands the field. And I am grateful to you personally for everything that you have ever taught me about faking paranormal. That's right, Dolly. That's absolutely right. I mean, it's like, talk about authenticity. They're the most genuine investigators, Ken and George both, that I've ever worked with. And I do believe that you are at the pinnacle of the field. And I am so grateful and I am so honored to launch the show again on Dead Air with you tonight. I had Ken on last week. I couldn't connect with you in time, but you deserved to have the whole show. And
Thank you.
this has been a lovely reunion for us face to face. Usually it's just on the phone, and voices are great, but it's wonderful to see your face too.
It's same here also, hon. And I'll tell you, it has been a fantastic ride with Dead Air and Ken DaCosta, who is my co-host on Sundays. I look up to Ken mostly because he's taller than me, but we have a mutual respect, and we just like you and I butt heads. He and I butt heads too, but there's still that respect, that standing respect for
always.
And for those of you who didn't know, come Sunday, Cody and Satori and Aaron are going to be joining us. We're having our game show Sunday, where there's going to be questions, candid questions thrown back and forth. If you've ever seen Cody and Satori's show, they do something similar. So make sure you guys check it out, 8 p.m. Eastern this coming Sunday. And
join us again here next week on World Awakening. I love you all, and I thank you very much, George. Thank you for joining me tonight. It means everything. If you've got the will and you've got the stomach for it, please check out In a Flicker. When you come up for air on the other side of In a Flicker, you will be changed. The inscription at the beginning of the book is to the women of history who make history. It is an entirely different take on the victims of Jack the Ripper, but it's so much more. It's multidimensional in every conceivable way, and George gets 100% of the credit for the concept.
And I sign every book with "Your pain is my pleasure."
Yes, you are a sick son of a bitch. I love you for that. I do. Okay, so on that note, we're running out of time. Again, always be the light that you seek. George, I'll call you tomorrow. I love you dearly, all of you. Thank you for joining us on A World Awakening tonight.
Thank you.